Ever wondered how to turn a humble potato into a flourishing home garden? Welcome to the world potatoes. This is beyond just saving money. It's about embracing a green lifestyle and reaping the joy of harvesting your own food. Potatoes, versatile and nutritional, are a cornerstone of numerous cuisines. Picture an endless supply right at home. Stick around, and you'll soon be a potato growing pro. Before diving in, gather these essentials. First and foremost, you'll need seed potatoes. These are not your average grocery store potatoes, but specific varieties bred for planting. They're the cornerstone of your potato growing endeavor. Next, a sunny spot is key. Potatoes love the sun, so pick an area that gets at least 6 hours of sunlight a day. This will ensure your spuds grow healthy and robust. The third item on our list is soil. Opt for loose, well-draining soil, which is ideal for tuber growth. It should be rich in organic matter, so your potatoes get all the nutrients they need. You'll also need compost. This natural fertilizer will supercharge your soil, making it a perfect home for your seed potatoes. Finally, you'll need a container or garden bed. This can be a large pot, a specially designed potato bag, or a section of your garden. Just make sure it's deep enough for the potatoes to grow. With these in hand, you're ready to start your potato growing journey. First things first, prepping your seed potatoes. The first step to growing your own potatoes at home is selecting healthy seed potatoes. Ideally, you're looking for seed potatoes that are roughly the size of a chicken egg. These should have several eyes or buds on them. The more eyes a seed potato has, the more shoots it will produce, leading to a higher yield of potatoes. Now, if your seed potatoes are larger than a chicken egg, you'll want to cut them into pieces. Each piece should be about the size of the egg and have at least 2 eyes. Cutting your seed potatoes increases the number of plants you can grow, making it a cost-effective way to maximize your yield. When cutting your seed potatoes, use a clean, sharp knife to prevent the spread of diseases. Once cut, it's critical to let them cure. Curing allows the cut surfaces to harden off, forming a protective layer. This layer helps prevent rotting when the potatoes are planted in the soil. To cure your seed potatoes, place them in a well-ventilated, cool, dark place. A garage or basement is often a good choice. Spread them out so they aren't touching each other, and let them sit for about 2 to 3 days. During this time, you might notice the eyes beginning to sprout. That's a good sign. It means your seed potatoes are ready to be planted. Remember, the health of your seed potatoes can greatly influence the success of your potato plants. So, take the time to choose good quality seed potatoes and prepare them properly. A quick recap: select healthy seed potatoes, cut larger ones into pieces, and let them cure in a cool, dark place for 2 to 3 days. With your seed potatoes ready, it's time to get dirty. Now let's get those potatoes in the ground. The first thing you'll want to do is dig a trench. The depth of this trench depends on the type of soil you have. If it's light and sandy, you'll want to go about 8 inches deep. But for heavier clay-like soils, 6 inches will do just fine. The purpose of this trench is to provide a loose, unobstructed path for the new potato tubers to grow. Next, it's time to position your seed potatoes. Place them sprout side up in the trench, ensuring each one has its own space to grow. As a rule of thumb, aim for a spacing of about 12 inches apart. This gives each plant enough room to spread out its roots and produce a good number of tubers. Now, this next step may seem a bit strange, but stick with me. Instead of filling the trench back in with soil, you're going to cover your seed potatoes with a layer of straw. About 4 inches should do the trick. This method, known as hilling, helps to prevent the potatoes from being exposed to sunlight, which can turn them green and make them toxic. It also helps to conserve water and suppress weeds. Once you've covered your potatoes with straw, it's time to add a layer of soil. You don't need to add a lot here, just enough to cover the straw and keep it from blowing away. This also helps to add a little extra weight, which can encourage the growth of your potatoes. And there you have it. Your seed potatoes are now snug in their new home, ready to start their journey towards becoming fully grown potatoes. Remember to keep the soil moist, but not waterlogged, as this can lead to rot. And of course, be patient. It will take a few weeks before you see any green shoots appearing, but when you do, it's a sure sign that your potatoes are well on their way. And just like that, your potatoes are planted and ready to grow. Growing potatoes isn't just a plant and forget deal. This is where the real nurturing begins. Your potato plants need love and attention, just like any other living thing. Watering is the first step in this care. Potatoes love water, but they don't like to be drenched. Think of it like a Goldilocks situation. Not too much, not too little, but just right. A good rule of thumb is to water your potatoes once a week, making sure the soil is moist but not waterlogged. If the leaves start turning yellow, that's a sign you may be overwatering. Next, let's talk about hilling. Hilling is essentially mounding soil around the base of your potato plants. This serves two purposes. First, it helps keep the plant upright and strong. Second, and perhaps more importantly, it ensures that the potatoes themselves are covered and not exposed to sunlight, which can turn them green and toxic. So, don't be shy, pile that soil high. Now, on to pests. Potatoes can attract a variety of pests, from aphids to Colorado potato beetles. The key to protecting your plants is vigilance. Regularly inspect your plants for signs of pests, such as chewed leaves or visible insects. If you do spot pests, you can remove them manually or use an organic pesticide. Remember, it's always better to catch these problems early rather than letting them escalate. Finally, don't forget about feeding your plants. Potatoes are heavy feeders, meaning they require a lot of nutrients. A balanced fertilizer that contains potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus can work wonders. Apply it every 2 to 3 weeks to keep your plants healthy and happy. And there you have it. With regular watering, diligent hilling, pest control, and proper feeding, your potato plants are set to thrive. Remember, the more you nurture your plants, the more they'll reward you with a bountiful harvest. With proper care, your potato plants will thrive. The moment of truth, it's harvest time. The time to reap the fruits of your hard work has arrived. Harvesting your potatoes is a thrilling experience, but it's also a process that requires care. So, how do you know when your potatoes are ready to be harvested? Well, the first telltale sign is the yellowing and wilting of the plant's foliage. This typically happens about 10 weeks after planting. Another method to check if your potatoes are ready is the scratch test. Gently dig around the base of the plant with your fingers and feel for a potato. If the skin holds firm under light pressure, it means your potatoes are ready to leave their underground abode. Now comes the exciting part, extracting your potatoes from the earth. Begin by cutting off the plants at ground level to make digging easier. Then, using a garden fork, start to dig around the outside of the plant, being careful not to pierce any of your precious potatoes. Insert the fork into the soil at a slight angle and lift to bring the potatoes to the surface. Once you've harvested your potatoes, resist the temptation to consume them immediately. It's important to cure them first. Curing allows the skin to harden and minor injuries to heal, increasing the storage life of your potatoes. To do this, simply spread your potatoes in a single layer in a dark, cool, and well-ventilated spot for about 2 weeks. Remember, patience is the key here. Don't rush the process. It's like waiting for a good wine to mature. The wait will be worth it when you finally get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's also important to note that not all potatoes mature at the same time, so you might need to repeat this process for several weeks until all potatoes are harvested. Congratulations! You've just harvested your first homegrown potatoes. Your dedication and patience have finally paid off. Now go on and savor the taste of your hard-earned homegrown potatoes. You've earned it. So, you've seen how simple it can be to grow your own potatoes. Let's do a quick recap. Remember to prepare your potatoes by chitting them. Then, it's time to plant them in a sunny spot of your garden. Provide them with proper care by watering them adequately and keeping an eye out for pests. And finally, the exciting part, harvesting your potatoes. With these tips, you're well on your way to becoming a home potato growing expert. Happy gardening! And here's a quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe for more gardening tips and tricks.